In my dreams, he stands in front of the sun. He looks dark when I know he is light. Cassia, he says, and the tenderness in his voice brings tears to my eyes. Cassia, it's me. I can't speak. I reach out my arm, smiling, crying, so glad not to be alone. I'm going to step away now, he says. It will be bright, but you have to open your eyes. They're open, I say, confused. How else could I see him? No, he says. You're asleep. You need to wake up. It's time. You're not leaving, are you? That's all I can think of, that he might go. Yes, he says. Don't, I tell him, please. You have to open your eyes, he says again. And so I do. I wake up to a sky full of light. But Alexander is not here. It's a waste of water to cry, I tell myself, but I can't seem to stop. The tears stream down my face, making a path in the dust. I try not to sob, but I want to wake Indy, who still sleeps in spite of the sun. After seeing the blue-marked bodies yesterday, we walk all day along the dry stream bed of the second canyon. We saw nothing, no one. I put my hand to my face and leave them there, feeling the warmth of my own tears. I'm so afraid, I think, for me, for Kai. I thought we were in the wrong canyon because I couldn't see any trace of him. But if they turned him into ash, I would never know where he had been. But I always hoped I would find him, though all those months planting seeds when I rode in the windowless airship piloted through the night, in the long run over the carving. But now there might not be anything left to find. The voice in my head nagged at me. Kai might be gone, but the rising too. What if the pilot died and no one took his or her place? I glance over at Indy and find myself wondering if she is really my friend. Maybe she's a spy, I think, sent by my official to watch me fail and die in the carving, so then the officials know how her experiment played out all the way to the end. Where are these thoughts coming from, I wonder, and then it hits me. I'm sick. Illness rarely happens in society, but of course I'm not in the society. My mind sorts through the variable at play. Exhaustion, dehydration, excess mental strain, insufficient food. This was all bound to happen. The realization makes me feel better. If I'm sick, then I'm not myself. I don't truly believe these thoughts about Kai and Indy and the rising. My mind is so muddled, I'm forgetting that my official wasn't the one who started this experiment. I don't remember the flicker in her eyes as she lied to me outside the Museum of Oria. She didn't know who put Kai's name in the matching pool. I take a deep breath. For a moment, the feeling finds my dream of Alexander comes back to me, and I'm comforted. Open your eyes, he told me. What was it Alexander would expect me to see? I look around the cave where we camped for the night. I see Indy, the rocks, my pack, and the tablets inside. The blue ones, at least in some way, were given to me not by society but by Alexander, whom I trust and waited long enough. It takes me a long time to open the compartment because I finally can't seem to figure out how it works. Finally, I pop up the first blue tablet in the package, shove it in my mouth, and swallow hard. It's the first time I've taken the tablets, to my knowledge anyways. For a moment I picture grandfather's face in my mind. He looks disappointed. I look back down the hollow the blue tablet was, expecting to see an empty space, but there's something there. A small strip of paper. Court paper. I unfold it, hand still trembling, sealed in its compartment. The paper stayed safe, but if it will disintegrate soon now that it's reached the air. Occupation, medic. Chance of permanent assignment in the promotion to psychic, 97.3%. Alexander, I whisper. This is the piece of Alexander's official matching information, the information I never did view on his microcard. All of the things I thought I already knew. I look at the sealed tablet in my hand. How did he do this? How did he get the scrap inside And there's more. I picture him now, printing out a copy of his information from the port, tearing each line carefully into strips, and finding a way to put them inside the packaging. He must have guessed that I would never look at the microcard. He knew I turned away and chose to see Kai. It's like Kai and the papers he gave me back in the burrow. 2 boys, 2 stories, written on scraps passed on to me. My eyes burn with tears because Xander's story is the one I should have already known. Look at me again, he seems to say. I break open another tablet from the compartment, and the next paper says, full name, Xander Thomas Crow. The memory comes back to me, to myself as a child in the burrow waiting for Xander to come out and play. Xander Thomas Crow. I called, hoping for one stone in his walk to the next. I was small and often forgot to harsh the approaching someone else's house. Xander's name, I thought, was nice to say. It sounded exactly right. Each word had 2 syllables, perfect rhyme for marching. I don't have to yell. Xander says as he opens the door and smiles at me, I'm right here. I miss Xander. I can't seem to stop myself from tearing into more of the tablets. Not to swallow down any more blue, but to see what scraps say. He has lived in Mapleborough since birth. Favorite leisure activity is swimming. Favorite recreation activity? Games. Peers listed Xander Crow's name as the students they most admired 87.6% of the time. Favorite color? Red. That's a surprise. I thought Xander's favorite color was green. What else don't I know about him? I smile, feeling stronger already. When I glance over at Indy, I see that she still sleeps. With a strong urge to keep moving, so I decide to step outside to see better the place that we came into in the dark. At first glance, it seems just like a wide open spot in the canyon. Like many other honeycombs, the caves, they trembled with rocks and smooth the undulating stone walls. But then, as I look around again, I see that one of the walls appears strange. I walk across the dry stumbled and put my hand against the rock. It feels as if it's rough under my hands, but it's not quite right. It's too perfect. That's how I know it's society. That it's perfection. I don't see cracks. I remember that the metered breath of the woman in the one of the 100 songs, how Kai told the society knows that we like to hear them breathe. We like to know they're human, but even the humanity they present is careful and calculated. My heart sinks. If the society is here in the rising, cannot be. I walk along the walls, running my hand along and looking for the crack where the society meets the carving. And as I come closer to the crumbled, tangled, dark bushes, I see something lying on the ground. It's a boy. A boy who ran with us to the carving and came into the canyon instead. He's curled up on his side, his eyes closed, small, squinting in the dusk, kicked up at the wind, covered his skin, his hair, and his clothes. He had this discolored and red with blood, so is the place on the canyon wall. There he crawled and clawed and couldn't either. I close my eyes. The sight of the dried blood and the crystals of the canyon dirt makes me think of the sugar and the red blood berries of grandfather's pie plate and makes me sick. I open my eyes again and look at the boy. I can do anything for him. I lean closer to see if his lips were strained blue. Since I never trained as a medic, I know almost nothing about how to help people. He doesn't breathe. I check the spot on his wrist where I've learned pulse can be taken, but it doesn't beat because he has someone whispers an umbrella around. It's Indy. I breathe out of relief. It's that boy, I say. Indy crouches next to me. He's dead, she says. She looks at his hand. What was he doing? I think he was trying to get inside, I say, pointing. They've made it look like rock, but I think it's a door. Indy stands up next to me and we both look at the bloody rock in the boy's hands. He couldn't get in, I say. And then he took the blue tablet, and it's too late. Indy looks at me, her eyes darting and searching. We have to get out of this canyon, I say. The society is in it, I can tell. Indy pauses. You're right. She says after a moment, we should go back to the other canyon. At least it has water. Do you think we'll have to walk back and cross where we came over earlier? I say, shrugging involuntarily, and I think of all the bodies on the top of the carving. We can go over here. Indy says, I have a rope now. She points to the roots of the tree clinging to the side of the canyon, growing where no trees should be able to grow. It will save us time. She opens her pack and reaches inside for the rope. And I watch her. She takes out and slings it over her shoulder and then carefully rearranges something left in her pack. The wasp nest, I think. You've kept it safe, I say. What? She asks, startled. Your wasp nest. I tell her, it's not broken. And he nods, looking worried. I must have said something wrong, but I can't think what it might be. A deep weirdness seems to have come over me. I had the strange desire to simply curl up like the boy and the rest of the ground. And on top of the carving, we don't look into the direction where the bodies would be. We're too far away to see anything anyways. I don't speak, neither does Indy. We move fast across the carving under the cold wind of the sky. Running wakes me up and reminds me that I'm still alive. And I cannot lie down and rest yet, no matter how much I want to. It seems like Indy and I might be the only two living people in the outer provinces. Indy secures the rope to the other side. Come on, she says, and we move back down to the first canyon where we begin. We might not have found sights of Kai here, but at least there's water and nothing of the society that we've noticed yet. Hope looks like a footprint and half footprint of someone grew careless and stepped into the soft mud, and later hardened too thick to blow away into the morning winds. I try not to think of the other prints I've seen on these canyons. The fossil remains of time long past. Nothing is left but the imprints of or bones of what once lived. This mark is recent. I have to believe that. I have to believe that someone else is alive here. I have to believe it might be Kai.